What's going on? It's your boy Carolina David coming at you again with another video. And this video right here, I want to talk about does black lives really matter to black lives, to black people? Let's get into it.
Let go. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the channel. Let's talk. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the channel. Let's talk. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the channel. Let's talk. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. Let's talk. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the channel. Let's talk. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the channel. Let's talk. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the channel. Let's talk. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. Let's talk.
2020 has produced a big spike in violent crime right here in the city of Buffalo. The Police Benevolent Association says shootings are up 90% from 2019. Tonight, Ed Riley takes a closer look at the rise in violence and what can be done at this point to stop it.
With the COVID-19 and all the deaths around the country, you would think, people would have a little bit more compassion for each other.
Bishop Perry Davis with the Stop the Violence Foundation is baffled why shootings have increased so much this year in Buffalo. According to the Buffalo Police Benevolent Association, there were 131 more shootings than during the same period last year.
So a lot of these things are retaliation from things in the past.
Bishop Davis believes part of the reason is groups like his are unable to go into the community to intervene because of pandemic restrictions.
We're still fighting the good fight, but it's just we can't get out there and do anything about it right now.
Buffalo police tell us they are seeing a lot of targeted gun violence, with victims refusing to cooperate with investigators.
In fact, a lot of times they don't even want to speak to the detectives regarding who shot them.
Police also believe bail reform is making it too easy for dangerous people to get back on the streets.
We've had people that have been arrested with firearms that were pretty much almost immediately released from jail.
There's no consequences anymore.
Buffalo PBA President John Evans agrees and feels the city needs more police vehicles for a bigger presence, along with more support for officers who get into an altercation with a suspect.
It could be a suicide, essentially, for your career. Currently, if you get in a confrontation with anybody.
District Attorney John Flynn said crime is way down this year, except for shooting and homicides. The number of shootings is up 78%, victims hit up 90%, and the number of people killed by gun violence up 81%.
There's a disconnect that I really don't understand.
While Flynn thinks some of it might be attributed to pandemic stress, he believes judges, in an effort to reduce the number of people incarcerated during the pandemic, are not setting bail high enough for gun charges.
We don't have the concept in New York of public safety on bail. All right? That needs to be changed.
Buffalo is not the only one with the problem. Data from the National Commission on COVID-19 and Criminal Justice shows that homicides and gun assaults are up significantly in cities all across the United States. Ed Riley, 7 Eyewitness News.
Now, if you listen at that, you listen at that daggone news story, it tells you that shootings increased from the year before to now, even with COVID-19 on the scene. And you got up to 81, has risen up to 81% in deaths, homicides. Like, we out here shooting and killing one another, and then y'all sitting up here advocating for criminal justice reform. Like, that's not gonna do nothing better for people that need to be incarcerated, that need to be punished for their actions. Like they said, the bells is not set high enough for, they get out immediately. They get caught with gun charges and get out immediately on bail, and the next thing you know, people go in and retaliate for something that happened. And my question is this: where is Black Lives Matter in the midst of all of this that's going on? Because not only is it happening in Buffalo, New York, it's happening in Chicago, Illinois, it's happening in Florida, it's happening all over the world, but there's no foot presence from Black Lives Matter for that particular reason. Whenever it's black on black, they ain't nowhere to be found. But then when you got people like the guy with Stop the Violence, they want to do something, they try to do something, but they don't gain as much traction as Black Lives Matter though. Just like this one right here that I'm about to play for y'all. Check it out.
Good evening and welcome to ABC Action News at 6. I'm Isabel Rosales. Enough is enough. That is the message St. Pete leaders echoed during a rally this afternoon as they call for an end to gun violence here in the city. ABC Action News reporter McKenna King shows us how local leaders and activists are trying to get the community to join in the movement.
Enough is enough! It's the second of many rallies to come in the city of St. Pete.
We want the community to see us.
A community divided as gunshots ring throughout South St. Pete week after week.
We are actually killing each other.
Local leaders organizing this rally days before another shooting left a police officer injured and a man dead.
Then I realized this is our reality.
Wednesday's shooting, just the latest.
Foodmax has a history of having people killed up at that store.
Police say they were conducting an investigation into 20-year-old Dominique Harris, wanted on charges of child abuse. Detectives found him inside his car at Foodmax and say they blocked him in when he ignored their commands. They say Harris hit a police cruiser attempting to get away before shooting a detective with a handgun.
I just wish another choice was made by Mr. Harris.
The Pinellas County Sheriff's Office says 6 officers with the St. Pete Police Department fired more than 50 rounds at Harris, hitting him more than 30 times. Harris died at the hospital.
I want the investigation to continue and bring out the actual facts of what happened.
Local leaders saying there's a problem in South St. Pete.
We don't like seeing the corner stores allowing people sell drugs out of them. We don't like seeing them allowing people to gather and they won't sign blanket trespassing warrants so that our police officers can go and do their jobs.
Begging the community to take notice regardless of what side of the city you live on.
We're going to hold a partner collaboration meeting so that we can ask everybody that wants to play a role, everyone that has specialties that can provide a service to this movement.
And say,
enough is enough!
In South St. Pete, McKenna King, ABC Action News.
See, if you pay attention in that video, it's only a few women out there. There's only a few people out there that's saying enough is enough. She wanted to get investigation on what really happened or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, like I said before, if that guy would have just got out the car, obeyed the commands of the police officer, he would have never got riddled with 50 bullets. Now, granted, a lot of these officers, like when these shootings happen, they do go overboard with the shooting. 50 bullets, man, that's crazy. At the same given time, stop being a dumb dumb person. I wanted to cuss, but stop being dumb. You was being sought out there for child abuse or whatever. What's the purpose of you trying to run? You did it. If you beat your child and you abuse your child, you done it, bro. Face the consequences. But instead, you want to sit here and run. You hit a police cruiser, and then you shoot at the police, and you got riddled with bullets. I actually seen that video on Instagram, and I felt like, wow, I wanted to know what really happened. But even though they didn't come out with the story of what happened, but you can get the heads or tails, like this person was on the run. You try to run from the police, and then you shoot at the police. You know you're surrounded, and that's what happened to you. But just like the woman said in the video, it's like they need to stop allowing these people selling drugs up there in their community. They need to stop allowing people to just hang around and lauder at the stores. I see it all the time. Like you go down in certain areas of nearby where I stay at, you'll see daggone people out there standing out there drinking and smoking weed and everything right out in public. Like the sister said, enough is enough. Where's Black Lives Matter? Why can't Black Lives Matter come into the picture to say like the lady say, enough is enough. Let's get us together Let's get us together. Let's get us on one accord. Let's stop shooting and killing and robbing and stealing from one another, so that then when we get us together and get us on one accord and we stop hurting each other, then we can fight against the bigger picture, like quote unquote police. Me personally, I feel like if you teach your people, teach the children from a young age growing up to obey lawful orders of the police officers instead of, yo, get off of me, man. I ain't do nothing. Get off of me, man. I ain't getting on the ground. Man, F that. And then you reach in your pocket to pull out a brush, like whatever. And you know that the first thing they want to see is your hands. But instead of you showing your hands, man, forget that. You all doing all that bull crap. Stop. It don't make sense. Black Lives Matter until y'all say, like the lady said on the video, enough is enough, and y'all come on the scene whenever a black man gets shot by a black man, because guess what? That's black lives being taken. Their lives should be their lives should matter as well. Not only when a white police officer shoot a black man. Like, even if you look at if you go back and listen at the clip, 186 shootings. That's way beyond the number of shootings that happen when black people to police officers. That's way above the number. But ain't nobody gonna say nothing about that though, because of what y'all want to do. Well, we want equality. We want criminal justice reform. How about people reform, like I said before? How about we get ourselves together? Because what the government is doing by when they lessening the charges and making it easy for people to get out of prison and stuff, all you're doing is enabling these criminals to keep doing criminal activity. You're enabling them to do it. Me personally, like, it should be go back to like the Bible says. That what you sow, you shall also reap. If you shoot and kill somebody, you need to get shot and killed yourself. Like, people want to sit here and say, "Oh well, the Bible, it freed us from the law." When you come to Jesus Christ, you believe on him, and you try to serve and worship him, you're free from the law. Why? Because you're not in the way of the world. The law ain't never went nowhere. It's just that when you're mad, that's why the Bible says, be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by renewing your mind. Once you renew your mind and you get in right standing with the Lord, you try to follow the Lord, then and only then will you be free from the law. Why? Because you're not going to be doing devilish things. You're not going to be out here committing tyranny amongst the land. You're not going to be robbing somebody. You're not going to steal from somebody. You're going to love thy neighbor as thyself. You're going to love your brother. You're going to do unto others as you had them do unto you. You're going to do these things. You're not free from the law. The law ain't going nowhere. The law is forever here. That's why whenever somebody pass away and they doing something stupid, like the Bible says, when Jesus told Peter, if you live by the sword, you should die by the sword. You live by the gun, you die by the gun. You live by the streets, you die by the streets. Enough is enough. It's time for us to stand up and take back our communities, man. It's time for us to get our communities back in right standing. Why? Because when you got children that's growing up in these communities, no knock at the sisters, but listen, when you got children growing up in these communities and the mothers are always at work, they always at work, and the children got to be raised by in daycare by their neighbor or whatever like that. And they got you got drugs and gangs and all that stuff around. Your child ain't gonna do nothing but be pulled into it. Why? Because they're around it all the time. You are the company you keep. And if you keep that bad company, your children are going to be a part of it. But anyway, let's get us together, y'all. And let's start questioning Black Lives Matter. Do Black lives really matter to Black Lives Matter? I love y'all.